I'm Christian Abbott.
I'm Nathan Lavender.
I'm Sean Abbott.
And this is the Red Mist Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Red Mist Podcast, episode 13. Tonight we'll be covering NASCAR at the Tricky Triangle at Pocono, Indycar at Iowa, the Hawkeye State, Formula One at Paul Ricard in France, SRX at the Sharon Speedway in Ohio, and NHKA's KartMania at Canaan Motor Club this past weekend. Gents, let's start off with NASCAR. Nate, take it away.
Yes, sir. The Tricky Triangle. The race was won by Denny Hamlin. I mean, Chase Elliott, actually. Because it turns out after the race, Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch, they got disqualified from post-race inspections. And Chase Elliott, third place, was inherited the win. I don't think this has happened in NASCAR history. In terms of a win getting changed after the race. I mean, if so, it was a very long time ago.
I thought the last time that I saw something or someone got DQ'd was like 60 years ago or something like that.
I'm trying to think. I think there was one where it was like Wendell Scott was inherited the win. There was one race that was the. I'm actually just thinking of that there's one case, and then Ricky Rudd one time at Sears Point was DQ'd because he moved Davey Allison out of the way. There, which I mean, back then, I mean, a BS penalty. It was like as if Dale Earnhardt made a move for the win.
Yeah.
If anything. So I mean,
that 60 thing that I saw, I don't know if it was 60 years or 60 races, whatever it was, or something like that. But it was definitely like a long time in whatever it got.
Right. And I'm just thinking.
You were correct. 1960 was the last time that this happened.
Oh no, I was
Wendell
right.
Scott.
Oh, Christian,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
He was right.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm
okay,
sorry.
so not 60. Well, okay, yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
it is
60 years.
60,
Yeah,
but not 60 years.
It was
Okay.
first time in 62 years.
62. Okay, I was close.
Wow.
And then
So,
I did see something right.
in that race, the immortal Emmanuel Zervakis was found to have driven with an oversized fuel tank. I'm shocked. At which point, Jumpin' Joe Weatherly was given the victory. Just reading that from the Fox.
Oh, from Massachusetts.
What?
Joe Weatherly? Yeah, he's from Massachusetts.
All right.
Fun fact.
Thanks. There we go. Thanks, Nate.
Yeah, and he won the Daytona 500 too, I believe. So, and with Richard Petty Enterprise back then.
I hope you're not mixing concepts, because
What do you mean?
Joe Weatherly was born in Norfolk, Virginia, and died in Riverside, California. I think you're referring to Pete Hamilton, who is from Dedham, Mass.
Oh no, I am. Oh
You
my
are.
God. Oh,
Wah, wah.
whoops.
Nate is no good in NASCAR trivia. Anyways, let's
Sometimes.
get back to the race. I thought it was actually a fairly decent race, Nate. Blaney had a hard hit during the race, but I mean, up until that point, it was actually a pretty clean race.
Right.
Go ahead.
No, it's cool. I was just going to add to the Riding Blaney incident. So oddly enough, I just found this out when I was watching it. Turns out they extended that pit wall, because in past races, like the broadcast gave two examples from 2015 where Jeb Burton and Casey Kane, they both had awkward spins coming out of turn 3, and they ended up actually crashing into like the pit wall area.
Inside the
pit.
So
and it was pretty dangerous.
Yeah, and so does that lead to that massive pileup that happened in the Xfinity race?
Sure does. Yeah. Speaking of Jeb Burton, he got on his roof.
Yeah, I saw that, but that was pretty wild crash. But anyways, so I mean, the Blaney the Blaney incident was just crazy. Like, he just came off the corner and just went straight into the wall, and that was a hard one. In that, but I thought, overall the racing was close all race. The good thing is it's not really, the pit lane's so wide and long that
you have so much
honestly, there's no real reason to seriously rush a pit stop. So I think this is like one of the first races that they, outside of cars getting disqualified for unapproved parts, that there wasn't any loose lug nut issues. So that was good.
Improvement.
But I mean, Hamlin was definitely, he was the fast car all day.
Well, yes, and so was Ross Chastain at one point.
Right. So
did you see that one restart? Oh my gosh.
Well, that was coming towards the sort of middle, later stage of the race, and like, honestly, even Chastain said it. He knew it was coming.
Right.
And Hamlin, I give him
the score settled.
But I give him credit. He didn't turn him. He just kind of ran him up to the wall, which I have no problem with.
Right.
That's fine.
Right.
It's when you sit there and do the bump and run, or the, I'm going to just do the Scandinavian flick and move you out of the way. But, he ran him up to the wall, and, unlike somebody in Formula One, Hamlin was ahead of Chastain at that point. So running up to the wall, he was ahead, so he could easily, that's fine. But, I mean, at that point, as the checkered fell, heck, was Hamlin at that point another first-time winner?
No, he's already
so
won.
He was a second-time winner.
He won at Richmond earlier this year, his home state in Virginia.
Right. So that's too bad. Anyways, but no, I'm just kind of still, I'm holding out hope.
I'm waiting for Corey LaJoie to get that win at Daytona.
Anyway.
You got.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm skipping ahead.
You got. Well, I mean, we can look at that real quick, because you have 16 different winners right now.
It was kind of funny because, now when you watch the race, and then you see like the interview with Hamlin after the race, it's like, oh, you want, and then Kyle Busch is second, and Chase is like third,
Yeah.
And Elliott was like, yeah, I'm good with that, and then it comes out post race, like both Hamlin and Busch. I mean, good move by Joe Gibbs Racing. That was well done.
Yeah, no, it was. And speaking of Joe Gibbs,
it was well done in the sense that both cars got caught cheating for the same issue.
yeah, I know. Like it's
so
probably in the same room.
Does that lead me down? Does that lead me down the road to if we got to who else? No, Logano doesn't drive for them. Who else drives for them?
Christopher Bell.
Christopher Bell, right?
Martin Truex.
He drives for Joe Gibbs, and the erstwhile Bubba Wallace or Darrell Bubba Wallace. He drives even though he's 23, whatever that is, 23 racing X11, whatever they are. That's all Gibbs cars.
Right.
So
it's just an olive branch, if you will.
Right. So.
So are we not checking those cars?
Well, it's a good thing those things. I mean, if we just kept, if those things miraculously finished in the top five, that would have been great.
Right.
Something spooky going on there. But I would have to think that if those two Gibbs cars had something wrong, somebody else did too. And that did come out today. Front row motorsports took a big hit for some unapproved changes to their car. So, and good job there. It's like, jeez.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
They're trying everything.
I don't know what these teams are thinking. Like, if the car's somewhat spec in the sense of its design and everything, and the body shell and everything. I don't know what you're trying to do.
They're so limited in the rules box.
Yep.
That you have any of the engineers that are in there are trying to win because because they know what the cash prize means for them.
Right.
Which I get it. That's people's livelihoods and whatnot based on performance, because that's how motorsports is. But you do get some of the great engineers that can start thinking outside of the box that are involved in NASCAR too, because I've heard stories of them pinching the paint, or not the paint, pinching the livery wrap on the car certain ways to try and help with an aerodynamic advantage.
That was the vinyl, right?
Yeah, the vinyl wrap.
Vinyl,
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you're so...
The other thing they try
It's
and
so
do,
tight too
right.
that you barely can get away with that
and
stuff.
that was on the previous car.
Yeah.
That they were doing that, and they were also, I know, like spending huge amounts of time and money at how to reduce friction to the track, you know, and
well, and the same. I mean, this goes across any kind of motorsports too, because in IndyCar, Penske's spending a ton of cash on dampers,
which is the only open area,
right? But that's
in there.
If
they're basically designing their own,
right? So you're in any form of motorsports, or I mean, any sports, anyways, that have rules and regulations. You're trying to find the loophole with the biggest gain.
Nope, that's
so.
Right.
I mean that they're obviously trying to push the box, and then it's not. I mean, yeah, you got DQ'd, so you got caught, but I mean, you do have to give him props of at least trying something, because I mean, granted, like, what are you gonna do? Just sit there and do nothing?
I thought the other funny thing was that they because Elliott's car got released from Tech, and they didn't know, like, they were third car and basically loaded up, and the truck took off, and because they were spending so much time going through, they found something on Bush's car first, then they went to Hamlin's car, and then they kept going back and forth. In that time, Elliott's car was long gone down the highway. They were like, well, it left, so he won. But also this was I think one of the first times this race hasn't been interrupted with rain in a while, or canceled.
Well, it was getting close with it, because even at the end, clouds are starting to get darker. As it was getting toward the speedway, it was like, oh my God, hurry up. So I just wanted them to get the race over with, because I swear, if another caution or rain situation came out with NASCAR, I was just going to I can't,
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, so
luckily enough, we finished it. And Kyle Larson, actually, looking at the results now, everyone got promoted up 2 spots, but
right.
I mean, Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson now have the top 5 instead of 6th and 7th.
Right, and Tyler Reddick had basically got P2, and Suarez with our favorite team, Trackhouse, P3.
Right,
Finish.
and if you're looking at someone like Chris Buescher, he went from 31st to 29th, which I mean, still a terrible day either way. He's one driver that might get in. Yeah. He's won at Pocono because of rain, actually. Chris Buescher.
Yeah.
When he was with Front Row Motorsports.
Gotcha. All right, so kind of move over to the points. Nothing really, other than Larson moving up and stuff. Truex, he's 5th, hanging in there.
But I mean, again, 2, 4,
so
5 more races to go.
Right now, if I'm correct, Will Byron has a win, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So that leaves me down the road of this is awesome. It's Truex sitting in 5th without a win, but in the points, and holding on by the skin of his teeth. it's Kevin Harvick.
I mean, yeah, he needs to win. He needs to win and just get himself at least in there, because with his points, he would be further up than just 15.
Well, the same could be said of Truex,
right,
with a win,
right.
So,
right,
it's just. Oh no! Wait a minute. Also, hold on. We forgot about.
You're looking at a different one.
Huh?
I think you're looking at a different one, because I'm seeing. I think it's what's it like?
No. I'm looking at the 2022 off the NASCAR site, Nate, and showing Ryan Blaney in 3rd.
No.
Am I-
Are you? No. There's
I'm
two.
looking
There's
at the
two
playoff
different.
ones.
Yeah, there's playoff points and then there's the season points. You have to go to the
what the
playoff.
hell?
Yeah.
Hell,
So
this is even more.
Even-
This is even more a reason to hate NASCAR.
yeah.
There's two sorts of
Yeah.
standings.
Okay.
Like, come on.
Sorry. I was looking at the real standings for
The real standings, yeah.
for us old timers.
Well,
Okay.
and looking at it,
So Truex is still in. I just
Yeah.
wanted to emphasize that. By the skin of his teeth,
Yeah.
he's on the cut line. Blaney is still in on the cut line. He's 22 ahead of well, I shouldn't say points, but he's I don't know how's this work.
No.
He's 50. Anyway, I don't know how this works. I mean,
Nate.
all the wins. Okay, without
okay.
the wins, Blaney's the top scorer without the wins. All right,
Right.
and then
Right.
then Truex is next, and then Harvick is in trouble.
Harvick is in trouble.
Yes.
And
He is.
I really think if he gets in, it's just a dream schedule for him in the playoffs because he's an example is Phoenix because he's so good at Phoenix. He has so many wins there.
Yeah, but
If he gets in, this is his kind of championship.
But his season to date
It sucks.
sucks.
Oh my
right?
god. Yeah. No.
So,
no wins.
Man,
He
that's-
needs. He's put into a
Jesus.
corner now, and this is
even sitting out a race, Kurt Busch is still in because he won.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Right. And so that's just the nature of this championship.
Yeah.
You can miss 3 races.
Oh.
Win a few races,
and
and
what do
as long as you're in the top
how many
30, you're
races?
fine.
How many races do we have left before the cutoff?
5.
There's 5.
5.
Where we got?
We go next weekend is at the Brickyard. They do the road course at Indy, so they're with Indycar
That's
at
right.
a double.
That'll be fun.
With a feature event there. And then after that, in August, your races go Michigan, Richmond, Watkins Glen, and Daytona. And Daytona, they're doing 160 laps. so
Out of
400
those
miles.
out of those 5 races, I could see Truex possibly winning Michigan. Okay. I can definitely see Harvick with a chance at Richmond. Because I think he's just really good on those tracks. Daytona, it's a crap show. So if it came down, let's just say we get one more new winner in between now and say Daytona. Can you imagine like somebody like Harrison Burton?
Or Brad Keselowski.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, Christian. now
God.
we're talking. Or let's see.
Well, that's the last.
Ricky Stenhouse, right?
Yeah.
No, but
Oh,
that's
man.
the last of the full timers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Keselowski is. Oh, and he got docked like 1,000 points, right, at the beginning of the
Yep.
season.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
That
out of
hurt.
that group, I mean, because everyone below. Oh yeah, Ty Dillon. Is he full time?
Sure is. Yes, he's with Petty
And-
GMS Racing.
And Todd Gilliland, is he full time? I almost
Sure
called him
is,
Ted.
yes.
I was thinking Ted Musgrave.
Todd Gilliland.
I was thinking of Ted. I was thinking
Ted.
Ted Musgrave for some reason.
Oh no! Oh, but that's a name though. That is
No.
a throwback.
Well, anyways, so from Dylan on up to Blaney,
Right.
if,
Good win.
that would be awesome.
You're gonna get 17 different winners and then a lawsuit
Or
for like 17th
yeah,
place.
right? Yeah, this. Yeah, this thing. I don't know.
That's what
This,
you're gonna see.
I don't know. This is what you know. What this is what you get when you
No,
do,
but and
when-
you know what? NASCAR has broken a rule like that before, like themselves.
I'm shocked,
get-
Nate. I'm really
to get Jeff Gordon in it.
Nate.
Yeah, I think it was
Nate,
in 2013.
Nate, are you saying that they'll pander for ratings?
Oh, just wait. They got Danny Gaffiat in the car. Breaking
Oh,
news.
breaking news! Yeah.
So for more viewership,
let's
speaking
just
of which,
yeah, IMS. It's this weekend.
sure is. Yes, yep, this Sunday.
Well, this is. I don't want to say it. It's kind of
Is he running under
no,
the
no, no, no,
American
no,
flag,
no,
or-
no, 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 no. Oh, we'll get to that in a second. I don't know how that's. I have no idea how that's going to play out. That's treading on some tough space there in terms of NASCAR's position on that. I'm not 100% certain. If the FIA,
I was going to say NASCAR is not FIA.
yeah, but I'll
Right.
be blatantly honest. I think IMSA falls under. They use the FIA driver ratings. They use their own, but I question whether. Well, they're NASCAR, so they would,
right. Does that mean NASCAR's in the same boat as IMSA? Which I mean,
well,
it's a
no,
NASCAR.
is IMSA in the same boat as NASCAR
Affiliated
when
series.
NASCAR sets precedent? So, I don't know. I don't know what IndyCar would do. That hasn't come up yet, but who knows?
Right.
And we're just talking about the banning of Russian drivers due to the Putin's invasion of the Ukraine. Now, granted, none of the somebody like Kvyat I don't think has the links that Mazepin has to the Putin government in terms of his dad being a Russian oligarch and stuff. I don't think Danny Kvyat is that, but he does have the nickname the Russian Missile. So
Torpedo.
coined, the Russian torpedo, so coined from F1. So let's hope we don't have any of that come up this weekend. But good. It's good. I wish the circumstances were not as contentious as they are right now. Just so he doesn't get any backlash personally.
Right.
He seems like a generally nice person.
For sure, yes, and I mean he's scored incredible podiums too. I think of like the 2019 German Grand Prix.
Yeah, but I also think like Kelly Piquet would speak highly.
Danny Kvyat is probably going to see Daniel Suarez's girl.
Oh,
hey,
Kelly's sister. Kelly's sister at the
you look
race.
familiar. Whoa.
Yeah,
That'll be odd.
Then old man Nelson will be there. He can't go to Formula One races, so he might as well go to NASCAR.
Yeah, right. Just bring Danica Patrick to IMS, and you'll be all set.
What?
Ricky Stenhouse. Hey, you look familiar.
Oh no, don't. Yeah, no. They already had one of those incidents. So, anyways,
my favorite thing from them is still when they wrecked at
that's what I was
thinking of that.
Yeah, was it Stenhouse or was it Patrick's spotter? So, who said something to somebody, and the guy goes, "You guys can talk about it back in the motor coach lot."
Oh my god!
It was something like that. But it's kind of nice to see him in there. But I mean, actually, that would have been a perfect place for Kimmy.
No, has he driven laps on the U.S. Grand Prix?
Yes.
Kimmy.
Yeah.
He has. Yeah. Oh, what am I? Jeez. Yeah. Now I'm really. Oof. I need to work on my F1 trivia too, Sean. Jeez. But I tell you, I wonder if Danny Kvyat's going to race at Watkins Glen. He should.
He could. I don't see why not. When I saw the picture between Friday and today's announcement of him sitting in the NASCAR car, I thought he was going to be the next guy in the Trackhouse car. That's just what I thought.
Yeah.
Maybe have him do. Did they go to? They went to Sonoma already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I was thinking maybe he was going to go to, like Richmond or something. But anyways, so good on that. But
Well, I got to tell you, I've always had sneaking suspicions that Danny Kvyat would like join a NASCAR race because on Instagram he's like one of the few F1 drivers that likes things from NASCAR, which I was like,
So kind of like Ricardo.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Or Pure Gasly. Liked by Pure Gasly.
What isn't like
All right.
like here?
All right.
Yeah.
Before we leave this F1, and guys, we'd like to see in the Trackhouse car. How about himself, Pastor Maldonado?
Oh, jeez.
Wouldn't that be exciting?
Well, it'd be paid for.
Yeah.
Also, how about here's one. Somebody's going to tell me like this guy's too old to race, and I'm gonna call BS on it. What if they put Mario in the car on a road course?
I don't.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Come on. I guarantee.
Michael, more of a chance.
No.
Nope.
If you put Michael and Mario in the race, Mario would wreck Michael.
Yeah, I would.
Now, if it was Marco and Mario, Marco might wreck Mario. And Mario will get on and go, I had it coming to me.
But I'll tell you what. You know who I see next in that is actually Ilya Kostyanevich.
Not in Trackhouse.
Not at Trackhouse?
No.
I mean, at least with
Justin Marks,
Stuart Haas.
No, Justin Marks already said that to do the Daytona 500 is too much of a crapshoot because it's a qualifying race.
Yeah.
The only way to get in is if he didn't have enough. If they didn't have 43 cars, so that's the only way he would get in. So it has to be a race
because it's cut to 40 now.
Whatever. Yeah, it's just that you have to qualify for that race. So, in the sense that there's a high probability that Helio might get aced out. So.
Right. I mean, Fernando Alonso has been ousted out at Indy 500 once before. So, I mean.
Right. And
I was there for that.
Yeah. And also, 1 year, Team Penske didn't make it either. So, I mean, the Indy 500 is a true qualifying sense, but.
I was almost there for Will Power not making it, too.
In the Verizon car?
Yeah.
Oh, you know where I was there for? When James Hinchcliffe didn't make it. That was tough because they had this big arrow tent and they had to take it down before race day.
Right. Anyways, all right.
Sorry.
So
I just remember that one.
We can close out NASCAR there. The Xfinity Series.
Wait! We gotta talk one more thing because Kyle Busch is in a little bit of trouble for next season. Mars, the M&M's
the
candy
sponsorship
sponsor.
issue. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he could speaking of Stuart Haas, he could very well end up there, replacing either the now retiring Eric Almirola, and I don't think Cole Custer has anything for next year placed so far.
Would that be so? Oh,
maybe 41?
No. I'm just thinking I forgot his brother's over at Hamlin's team.
Yeah, and Kurt Busch won at Daytona 500 with them in that 41 car. So I mean, it'd be kind of weird.
Yeah, that'd be could end up there. Good for him. Spend more time with his kid's career, raising little quarter midgets. And then Nate's best bud won in the Xfinity Series.
No way. No, come on. You're joking with me. Who could it be?
Who won?
Do you have to make me say it?
Go ahead, say it.
Noah Gragson. I mean, Noah Gragson. Oh, this is gonna be a thing, isn't it?
No, that's all right.
Yeah, he won. But I mean, I'll tell you. I mean, he outdueled Ty Gibbs, and then Ty Gibbs, both of them got
sure did.
They got into the Cup race the next day. But
yep.
Even for Ty Gibbs, I mean, he's surely a championship threat.
Yep.
So I mean, for the Xfinity title.
Just kind of check. Oh, my man Sheldon Creed is just on the outside of the cut line there.
Yeah.
So.
The Willpower 2.0.
That's right. So
anyway,
we can wrap up NASCAR with that. Next up, IndyCar, the doubleheader at Iowa Speedway. The hy-vee 250 on Saturday, followed by the hy-vee 300 on Sunday.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. And we're just talking 300 laps and 250 laps. We're not talking kilometers or miles. Because it's a mile and a quarter, correct?
Something like that.
Something
yeah.
like that.
It's a mile and change.
And this is one of the better tracks, I think, on the NASCAR circuit. I mean, sorry, the IndyCar circuit. Oh, jeez, NASCAR circuit. Well, got too much time there spent talking.
Well, Jimmy Johnson's there, so
Jimmy Johnson's there, and Jimmy Johnson had a overall
amazing weekend.
Amazing weekend. Amazing weekend. He had a first off the guy that dominated. There were two guys, actually three guys, that dominated. I thought the early sessions and practice qualifying. It was Newgarden, Power, and Connor Daly.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Connor, it just it was. You just I don't know if it's just strategy or what, but the car lost race pace both days.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas Award, who I thought I put the jinx on him last week, bounced back with a second on Saturday and a first on Sunday. But I'll be honest with you, up until Newgarden's mechanical failure on Sunday, it was the J New weekend.
Yeah.
he was on fire.
He owns that track.
Yeah, he does. Four wins,
Yeah.
Should have been 5.
Five, yeah.
Sorry.
Should have been 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I was shocked.
Yeah.
As soon as they went to side by side, he crashed.
Right.
And I was like, what the heck? I mean, some of these commercial breaks are just like bad.
Oh, I know.
timing.
They came back. That's right. I'm sorry. I forgot
Like,
about that.
Oh,
hey.
my God.
Yeah, and
Joseph
then
Newgarden.
Joseph Newgarden. But, like, Ericsson had a decent weekend. You
Sure
know,
did.
but, you know, again, you can't start, like, he's going to have to, like, this weekend in Indy, he's got to finish ahead of these guys, you know? So,
Yeah.
and it's going to be tough because Hurt is good there. They're at the road course, right? So Hurt is good
Right.
there, and Grosjean's good there.
No, and you know who's like kind of like oddly good there too, which I mean is going to be a real dark horse. Is actually Jack Harvey. Because he's gotten the podium or two there.
Yeah, well, that
Yeah, but,
wasn't in Ray Hall Letterman.
No,
hate to say it.
that was
was
with
not an RLL.
Mayor Shank.
Right, it was in Meyer Shank. So, yeah, I don't think. Dixon. See what happens.
Dixon and Will Power. That's why we'll see at the front.
I think McLaughlin might surprise you this weekend.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go there.
No,
I don't know because it's not a street circuit. If this was a
right.
street circuit, he's definitely shown that he likes the tight, twisty tracks. He definitely has shown that. I think Herter and Grosjean, for whatever reason, this track. I mean, granted, I think I know why. They're both. It's an FIA grade track.
Well,
In the sense of, they ran the Formula One races there. I think the course is a little bit changed, but overall it's the same thing. I just think that their driving style fits that track. And same with Award.
when are they racing? Sunday.
No, I think they're Saturday and NASCAR is Sunday.
Because then NASCAR is going to be the Sunday.
It's gonna
Yeah,
rain. If it rains, just give it to Herta.
Yeah, just get.
I mean,
It's right now.
We
It's
already saw it this year.
right now.
you already
It's
saw it.
sunny on
I know.
Saturday. It's gonna be sunny on Saturday. But it's
rainy
gonna be rainy
on Sunday.
So
So
unless
it's gonna win.
unless they
No.
really want to switch it around.
It's based on TV. Sunday's the big
Oh wait,
one.
no. NASCAR will race in the rain because it's
Yeah,
a road course.
it's a road course.
Oh no,
Yeah.
never mind. I thought
Yeah,
I'm thinking oval.
Oh.
My bad.
Oh.
But that NASCAR now that throws it.
I just the other thing is I'm not. See, I don't know like Power and Newgarden. Great, they had a great weekend. It's now we get back to the road course and they haven't been so good there.
Right.
And
Right.
you
And-
know,
well, yeah, but Power has been coming on.
He's
This
on a
section of the
charge.
season, yeah.
he's definitely coming on.
So I mean
I
that could wash it, but yeah, it is like
I mean-
it is Penske's home track, right? So what's
in
the
theory? But
So, I mean-
the other thing, unfortunately, with Newgarden right now is we don't know how he's feeling.
Yeah,
You know,
Right.
obviously he sustained.
Not cleared yet.
Obviously, he definitely he whacked his head in the car.
Yeah.
he had to have.
yeah.
Because he got out of the car, felt fine, passed all the tests at the infield care center, but went back to the motorhome. I guess it was in the trailer or the motorhome lot.
Yeah, he
And
lost
He
consciousness.
lost consciousness, and that's scary in itself. But he did have a big crash. It was a big hit. Hopefully, he bounces. I'm hoping he races. I have no reason to doubt that.
I mean, if he doesn't, that's
Oh yeah.
gonna be a,
Well, this opens a whole nother thing, and
no, but I mean,
let's
for the points,
it'll
be
it'll be a hit for
it'll
the
be a
points.
hit,
But let's discuss Nate, the reserve Penske driver.
Oh no. Yeah. Your favorite
My favorite,
F2 driver?
I think-
F3 driver?
just one of the all-time. He's just not. He's
I would pick someone
honestly.
else.
I mean,
Just-
he is a PR nightmare.
Long story short, yeah.
Yeah. The fact that he hasn't been caught on Twitch saying something dumber than what he said in F2 has
you already
amazes me.
saw what he did when he did the iRacing Indy 500. Just
Oh yeah,
cleaned out
yes.
Oliver Askew.
Right,
That
right.
just,
Yeah,
I
he's,
mean,
he's done a few of those. So we are talking about one Connecticut's own Santino Ferrucci.
yeah.
right.
I honestly could have thought Penske could have done better.
Way better. I don't know if like
honestly,
Joey Logano was like playing mind games or like hypnotizing Roger Penske to do it or what? Because they're both from Connecticut.
I mean,
and
honestly,
both
like
similar driving styles.
trust me, they're like Stephen Wilson could have easily stepped into the car. Not going to cause a PR nightmare. I will say this goes down the road of and it's something that some of the IndyCar pundits, reporters have been talking about, and which is the need for some of these big IndyCar teams to fund somebody in the Indy race in the Indy Lights series, because you could have come up with a somebody. So if Penske had a team, he could have pulled the guy up from that. Also, I mean, Penske could let's go this route. Who was driving the P2 car? Oh, I mean, honestly, you could have put Dane Cameron in. Could have put Is it
any of those drivers?
Who's the other driver? Philippe Nasr?
Felipe Nasr. Yep.
Felipe Nasr. You could have put him in the car. I mean, honestly, like Santino Ferrucci, for real. I mean,
like, well, and you know who I was thinking? I was first thinking Oriol Serbio, just because I know he was in the car in one piece.
You mentioned that, but Nate, he hasn't been in a car in 5 years.
My other driver. Yes, that's where I was going to kind of finish off there. He hasn't been in a IndyCar for a very long time.
Right.
But also, I was thinking of another driver, Tony Kanaan.
Oh, no.
Like, why don't you put him in?
No, because he's on the contract to Ganassi.
Yeah.
Ganassi
Still
runs
for one race?
Ganassi runs Honda too.
Yeah.
So that ain't happening.
Jeez.
Yeah.
My God.
That is not happening.
I thought that was a no-brainer almost. I was like,
Well,
like,
I mean,
just thought of it.
See, you can't even go.
Well,
you can't go RHR. You could. No, you can't go RHR because RHR is.
Right.
RHR is doing.
Well.
Oh no! Wait a minute.
He's not.
Oh no! RHR is doing testing for Ganassi.
Regardless,
on the Cadillac program,
there probably aren't as many drivers out there anymore because McLaren has signed everyone.
Oh, that's right. Did they sign? Did they sign anybody this week?
Alex Blokman, right?
Yeah, they didn't. They didn't sign anybody else this week. So this kind of goes down that rabbit hole of, and I think it's a valid point that the IndyCar reporters bring up that some of these teams really need to look at this. And that I was thinking about could do it is probably Matty Brabham.
Ooh,
but he's running for Andretti in Indy Lights. I'll ask you, but he's contracted to Andretti in Formula E. Yeah. So you can't get him. So I mean, like Dane Cameron, they could have put in the car.
Yeah.
I mean, Ricky Taylor, they could have put in the car. Oh no, he's on Acura now. Sorry, you can't do it. No. That doesn't work. Because he did test the Penske car when he was and he raced for Penske when he was running the IMSA program. But there's no way Acura would let that happen, especially in the series where the points are tight. Yeah. So I'm kind of like, I guess it's like there wasn't anybody better available. Yeah. I mean,
for cheap too, I guess.
Wait a minute, who else drives who was driving the other Dreyer?
Sage Karam?
Yeah, no. Besides Sage, who was driving the other Dreyer Reinbold car at Indy? Oh, wait a minute. I got a dumb question.
I think it's Sage Karam.
I got a really dumb question. And he runs. I know he runs on another team, but I mean, he's contractually he's done with those guys right now. Why didn't they go get Montoya? I don't think he has another race with. I think he's only
McLaren this year.
He's only contracted for 3 races, and I don't think he's coming back as the third driver next year. So,
well,
I just dawned on.
Well, doesn't he race in?
They're not racing right now. They don't have another race.
Okay.
The 24 hours of spas this weekend, so there's no
that's a really good
WEC
point,
race.
Sean.
It's like, I mean, JPM. I would have went JPM. Mm-hmm. I mean, seriously. I mean,
he's driven your cars before. He raced at this race track earlier this year.
He ran, and I know McLaren, they run a Chevy, so, right? Yeah.
It must have just been price tag.
Yeah. Could they got
'Cause he's
Fernando?
just-
Could Fernando? Oh no, Fernando's busy in Hungary this weekend. Would've been
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, he's hungry for some racing at F1.
Yeah.
Get
so,
it?
but yeah,
Don't
that's.
mean- I don't mean to be a Buddha
No.
pest,
But it's just. Oh, that's just too bad. That's too bad. That was an opportunity. That it would have been nice with
Anyways.
Montoya. But anyways, unless maybe he's running this weekend. I don't know. I haven't seen the entry list for that. Because you know how he ran the Indy Road Course. So maybe they are running a third car this weekend. I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see.
Wow, there's just
See the
that.
entry list.
There's just nothing left there. Wow, that's yeah. I guess I mean now I got to sit down. If I'm Penske or some of these teams, I got to sit down and go. I got to get some depth.
Yeah.
Because I mean, right now, especially during the season, like you can't just go pull somebody out of Formula 2 because the Formula 2 guys are they're in Hungary this weekend.
Yep.
A good chunk of folks that you might think from sports car racing are at Spa this weekend. I mean, you're basically down to like somebody like Dane Cameron, which I would, if I'm Penske, I would have said him, or I would have
Right.
said Nazar, and it's like one of you two is going to run it,
Yeah.
you know? But
I got a
Anyway.
really silly question. I mean, it couldn't have been. Oh, you know what? Sean, I probably got even more stupid idea. What if Penske went with one of his supercar drivers, like Scott Pye or something?
no, because I think they're racing. They're heavy in the season right now.
Oh,
But
gosh.
I
thought it was worth your time
well,
to
and
do it.
actually, they don't actually. Penske doesn't have a supercar affiliation anymore.
It's Dick Johnson, right?
Yeah, but he
most
doesn't.
part.
Yeah, Penske sold that to them, back to them.
Gotcha. Okay,
The-
okay.
There is a V8 race.
There is
this
a V8
weekend.
race. Yeah. So,
Ah,
what
that makes
about?
sense.
Couldn't they get like Kumi? Is there a Super League race this weekend?
Super League.
Super Liga, Formula, yeah, the Japanese Formula. What, Nate? You know this. You run in that series in the iRacing.
Well, in Gran Turismo 7.
Yeah. What is it? What's it called? Super
The Super Formula?
Super Formula. Yeah. Japanese Super Formula. There's plenty. I mean, like if
We got a
Kun-
big race
like,
actually tonight, the Blue Moon 200.
Kun-
Fun stuff.
What track's it at?
It's a made-up track, but
Oh.
it's like a Talladega version of Pocono.
Sounds
It's amazing.
sounds
I love
fun.
it. Yeah, no, one of the drivers, Matteo Giuliano, he could get his fourth Blue Moon 200, which I mean, NRL terms, fun. he kind of feels like he's Ilya Castroneves right now.
Any
I love
luck
it.
with that?
With
No,
with me?
No, Christian's just trying to see. I was because Kobayashi sometimes runs over there. But see,
He
that's
does.
yeah. But
Yes,
here's the problem.
There
That's
isn't a
He would be a
race
really
this
fast
weekend.
driver.
there's
in
no
there.
race. So you could have poached the Toyota, like him or Rio Haricaro, who drives.
Or Mike Conway.
Oh, Mike Conway. You could have got.
Yeah, you could have got.
Oh,
Could have got him. Yep.
that would have been an amazing pick.
Could have got Anthony Davidson. You could have got Paul DeResta. I mean, seriously. DeResta could run, even though he does testing for some Mercedes. Oh, he's probably doing F1 this weekend.
Yeah.
Is Anthony doing? He's just doing WEC, isn't he? Or is he doing Sky Sports
I
sometimes?
don't know. I know he's
I
doing
think he's
Sky,
doing
Sports,
work.
Sky Sports sometimes.
Sky Sports.
Anyways.
All right.
All right. Let's
Well, it's a
Sports.
tough one. Tough one there. It was like two good races and that. The points, all they did was tighten up.
Yeah.
Award sort of jumped back into it. Even with this great finish, again, Mr. Consistency, Scott Dixon stays ahead of Award and stays tied for third with J New. Now, those two guys, J New and Award, have a fantastic weekend. Granted, Newgarden crashed out, but whatever. But Dixon
Just there.
just there and stays in the point hunt. I mean, amazing. So, so we'll see what happens at IMS this weekend. No double points, just a single race weekend. So, is this the Harvest Grand Prix?
Well, yeah, if you want to call it that one.
yeah,
It was
all right.
like not quite fall this year. But,
Okay. So,
who do you think is going to win, Sean?
oh man,
Podium or like?
It looks like it's going to be sunny.
Oh, it'll be sunny. All right. Well, just I'm
I'm gonna go with power.
Oh yeah, that's
you
just,
bastard.
he's just.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
power.
Gonna
okay, all right.
I was going to
gonna
go power too. I mean, you'd be delusional not to. I mean, he's on such a charge right now, and
I'm gonna
he's
go.
almost getting Marcus Ericsson.
I'll say
vulnerable
power
at this point.
Ericsson
I
Dixon.
think he's going to podium.
That's what I'm gonna do. Power Ericsson Dixon.
All right, I'll go.
I see Pillow up there.
No, I'm not gonna say Pillow because he's already admitted that he's getting shut out of meetings.
Oh, really?
All right, then I'm gonna
Oh
go
gosh.
power Herta and Award.
Venus VK.
An award.
No,
Oh!
I'm gonna go with Renus as my dark.
That's a
horse.
good dark horse.
That's
I like
That's
that.
a really good dark
Really good
horse.
That's
dark
gonna be
horse.
my dark horse for this week.
Yep.
My dark horse will be Grosjean.
Oh, dang it! I was going to say that.
That's all right. We can
I'll
have.
just go with Takuma Sato.
Oh, okay.
all right.
I like that.
All right,
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Not Graham
just
Rahal.
sneak it in there.
not
No,
Ferrucci.
who?
Not Graham Rahal.
Oh, not Ferrucci. He's not even going to race. Come on.
Nate was lit up when that came out.
Just like,
right.
jeez, man.
All right.
I'm sorry. I think you could have picked a different driver.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All
gonna
right. So
cap it at that.
let's move on to Formula One. Very French, as they say.
Bonjour.
That. Bonjour.
Nate, in your homeland.
With Leve Deux.
Grand Prix de France.
France at Circuit Paul Ricard. Not Circuit Paul Ricard, but Circuit Paul Ricard.
Yeah.
It's
Isn't kind of interesting that
it's like Cool Whip.
well, it's like what sounds more French, like Circuit Gilles Villeneuve or Circuit Paul Ricard?
No, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve sounds Canadian.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though
Just
it's in Quebec, and they speak French there.
Yeah.
All right.
But
well,
anyways.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, anyway,
headlines of this week.
I got a couple different, couple keywords here. One is no. The other is
the
no,
circus
not
is
now.
back, Sean.
Oh man, the Ferrari Big Top is back.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Max wins, Leclerc spins, and Ferrari puts their strategy in the bin.
Oh, I know. For a guaranteed podium too.
So,
I'm getting way too ahead of myself.
yeah, I get outside of Leclerc crashes, so he has a moment. I think it's pretty obvious it was his mistake, and he admitted to that it's a high level of competition this year, and you got to be really on it. And any kind of mistake really amplifies your because of how close it
Points
is this
total.
year
Yeah.
and points. It really any mistake gets amplified because it's so tight, and you can't really be making these mistakes, especially how many they've made so far. So, once Leclerc, I guess back it up to qualifying. Leclerc gets on pole. Carlos starts at the back with an engine penalty. The Red Bulls, it seemed like they just had pace all weekend, really, for race pace. And then Mercedes had surprising race pace. It didn't look like they were going to be anywhere near of a podium during practice and qualifying. And then Ferrari uses a little bit of teamwork at the beginning to get Leclerc on pole, which I'll be honest, I didn't see that really pan out too well for them in the race to begin with. I think from the opening stint in the race that it was pretty evident that Red Bull were going to have a good chance at either jumping Leclerc in pit stops or just having outright pace later in the race to get by him, because Max was just on him constantly. Yeah, he was falling back a little bit, but I think that was a bit more strategic than it was just him being outpaced by LeClerc. So
Right, right, and well, even at the start of the race, Max was kind of filling his mirrors up. I would say for the most part, just really like, kind of waving at him almost to kind of just like, I'm here whenever you make a mistake. So, um, I thought it was a really good mental race for Max too. I mean, until obviously throughout the whole race, he managed it well. Ended up getting the victory, but I just think he was really just trying to make sure, like, definitely take any advantage he can away from Charles Leclerc. And I mean, even Charles Leclerc is just like, I mean, the pressure's mounting. Mistakes are going to happen, and Ferrari's strategy is no better. I mean, they screwed Carlos Sainz with pitting with 10 to go. I still can't wrap my brain around that.
Well, I think up until Carlos made that pass, I agree with them that the strategy was probably something to throw at it, because he was stuck behind Perez. It didn't look like he was really getting around him, and then he did. Once he did, that's when I would have been at Ferrari like, no, don't do it, because you've finally gotten around him and gotten some open space, and you clearly still had a pace advantage. Now, they were talking about dropping the tires, having a drop off on the cliff for pace, so who knows? But at the same point, Pierre Gasly was your he was in the similar situation of on the mediums in the last 10 laps, and he didn't fall off the cliff. I think Pierre had a decent finish anyways, if I'm correct. And
12th, I mean, close to the points, but
yeah, but I mean, it wasn't. I don't think it was. It didn't look like he just like massively dropped off either during those last couple laps, because it was really Vettel and Stroll racing, and then Pierre had Albon behind him, and Albon was dropping off. So I mean, I think at the end of it, they probably should have kept Carlos out there, especially after getting by Perez. I think that was definitely a mistake. Now, whether he would have made up the 5 seconds, that's tough, because it was only 6 seconds between George and Lewis. So that he really would have had to push there to gain 5 seconds in the last 10 laps, and that would have been hard in itself.
Yeah, and Sergio Perez wasn't too far behind George Russell either. I mean, they were having a duel themselves for the last podium spot.
Yeah,
which I was thinking Sergio Perez might sneak it in, but it was too late, and George Russell already covered the position and helped Mercedes get a double podium.
Yeah. I mean, overall, a pretty I'd say pretty straightforward, but I mean, I guess I'd say Red Bull and 2 Mercedes. I mean, once Ferrari kind of botched it, I mean, Carlos came back and did some good damage limitation.
You have Charles's mistake, which it clearly was.
Yeah.
That turned the I don't know if the rate. I mean,
it turned Haas's races upside
down. Unfortunately,
yeah.
It gave opened the door big time for Max and Red Bull.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think had the race played out the way it did. Say that didn't happen. I mean, I know. It probably would have been Charles, Max, and Lewis.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, they seem to be the class of the top 3 runners. Yeah. Unfortunately, we had a driver mistake. And again, that's it's getting to the races where he's like lost points now.
Yeah.
It's an even split. We have driver mistake versus team mistakes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it's getting tough.
Yeah, they're not helping themselves.
They're not helping themselves, and it's neither the driver nor the team.
Yeah. No, everyone's got to be flawless, and
Right.
Mattia said that they can win the last 10 races, and don't get me wrong, I believe him, but with the way their current track record is, that's a really tall order.
I think, as I understand it, Max with one more win in the next 3 races could, in theory, finish second the rest of the way.
Yeah, he is. So Max is 63 points ahead.
Yeah.
And there's 10 races to go.
Right.
And your points difference is, let's say Charles gets the fastest lap every race too, right? So that's not 8 points but 9 points. So you need 90 points as of right now, which Max has got. He's got 63, so 27 difference. But yeah, I mean Max is definitely well in control right now and doesn't really need to worry about chucking it up the inside.
I think excuse me, going into the Hungary weekend, I mean, he does well there. I think provided he doesn't get become the victim of a Mercedes bowling ball,
right?
From last year. But
and Stroll.
But I think Max just needs to, if he can finish on the podium, I think it's a good way to go out. Ideally, if he could win or finish second, I think that would be best.
Max will still have the pace to be up there on the podium, I think, for this week. But I think with the way the tracks have gone, I think this is going to be a Ferrari track.
Yes, this would be a Ferrari track.
So
once we get to when we get to Monza, I hate to say it, that's a Red Bull track.
Yeah.
It's just it's straights, and the only squirty piece is the first chicane.
Well, that, and the other thing too is, do you really see Max losing at
Spa?
No, Zandvoort.
No.
Oh no, Zandvoort. Yeah, no. There's
actually
that's not happening.
I mean Spa even too.
That's not happening. And if I'm well, now Red Bull does have one more upgrade coming. Is that correct?
I'm not sure.
That's the question. If I was them, I would bring it here.
Well, actually, where do all the penalty? I'll
anyways
try and find the penalties.
So I mean, but yeah. So
well, after Hungary, Ferrari is more than confident that they can win these next 10 races, right? Or is you know what?
I don't see how they're going to win it at Monza. They have their straight line speed compared to Ferrari is nowhere.
Right. Yeah.
Mercedes, I don't think Monza is going to be a good track, only because it's that high speed stuff that they really struggle with. Like Paul Ricard, at Paul Ricard, they did really well because it's a combination of the corners are fast flowing corners, and I think the Mercedes is really well set up for that. They definitely did not have the straight line speed.
Right.
So that, but so that's coming up. A couple things takeaways from the race. I mean, from my perspective. One is, I kind of on the Ferrari side, I'm really starting to think that Carlos is kind of asserting himself into the team more. And when I say that, I mean it in a positive way. He is very affirmative in what he says in terms of knowing, like when they told him there was a 5-second stop and go, he goes, "No, that's a 5-second penalty." I mean, when your driver's concentrating on driving and he can tell you that, he's in tune with what's going on. He's also calling this. He knows what's going on with the strategy of the race. Mm-hmm. LeClerc, there's a couple things from a mental standpoint of leading a race and being in the championship. He needs to kind of get with it because he has far too many mistakes. Earlier in the race, he ran wide at one corner, and Max almost capitalized on it. Mm-hmm. So I think Charles needs to really kind of focus on that. He's got talent. I just don't know mentally if he's got the talent right now. Whereas I think Carlos has that ability, and I think some of it comes from his father. And I think his relationship with his dad, I think I think Carlos goes home and probably talks to his dad very closely about what's going on, and his dad knows the politics of how to run of driving within a large factory team, especially. And his father's run on some of the high-profile factory teams in World Rally, so.
Right.
You know, I granted everything's magnified at Ferrari, but that kind of translates back down to Carlos. And I think he's told Carlos, you need to be firm, and he is. And I think, you know, if you look at somebody like Mario Andretti would tell you, you need to be firm. Any of the greats that have driven for Ferrari, Niki Lauda, I mean, case in point. I mean, he was very, you know, very blunt with what he said. And I think, you know, to the degree when Vettel came there, I think Vettel was the same way. And I'm you know,
and he figured that out too,
and
pretty quick.
I think Michael Schumacher, I'm sure he was. Mm-hmm. The thing that was outstanding at Ferrari back then was they had Ross Brawn, Jean Todt.
Yeah.
They had a great.
They had the right people at the right time.
Complete package.
Yeah.
Whereas right now, the two drivers, they have two really good drivers. Yeah. And the rest of it's a clown show. It really is. Yeah. It's laughable.
No, and you know, at this point, I mean, you gotta put you're throwing a kitchen sink at the strategist team now because they've screwed up so many times this year. I'm about to say, put Gordon Ramsay as your strategist because he will just.
That gets back to last week when we talked about having guest strategists come in.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. Ferrari's Achilles heel right now is the strategy.
It's team management and strategy
because they can clearly build the car.
The car's fine. Yeah. Drivers perfectly fine.
Yeah. It's the management.
It's management. It's Bonotto on down. You know.
Yeah.
I mean on the pit wall.
Yeah.
Whatever's going on there and whatever goes on back at Maranello, if there's any folks back there, they don't have anything. I mean, it's getting laughable listening to Charles. We are Plan E. I mean, how many effing plans do you have to have during a race? Yeah. I mean, seriously.
Right.
They're overthinking it.
They're over and underthinking that they don't know what they're thinking.
Right. You know, and then it's like, oh, let me talk to my driver. Well, he's in the heat of battle, and he's right here at the pit lane. Oh, good move. I mean, like, are you effing kidding me? Like, really?
Yeah.
I mean, God.
It's becoming easier to make memes for Ferrari
absolutely.
Every day.
I love it. Oh no, just Ferrari in general.
Yeah. All in all.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the exact rule is of
engine changes and all that mess.
Yeah, like if you go over on one engine,
Red Bull's gonna take it at
Red Bull will take it.
They're not gonna take it at the worst track because that's not the thing to do.
No.
They're not gonna take it at their best track. They're gonna take it at some track where we may or may not finish, and they'll just try and minimize point loss.
But so if the limit is 3, right, and you go over into 4, right? If you take a 5th, is that another one?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Regardless. Both Ferraris are pretty much at their limit.
Yeah.
On a lot of their parts. So any kind of substitution of power unit components is going to incur a penalty. Red Bull can push it off a little bit. What I didn't realize is that Lewis is actually worse off than the Red Bulls are right now.
So Mercedes is in
the same boat as Red Bull, so unless Mercedes closes the gap with upgrades, they're not making any headway.
All right.
So Ferrari needs to just finish races.
Gotcha.
That's what they have to do right now.
Yeah. So I mean that's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up. There's one other thing I really just I don't want to drone on about this, but George Russell.
You didn't have the corner.
You didn't have the corner, and also I'm really getting tired of him. Seriously, really getting tired of him.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
and it's just starting. It's just starting.
Everything is a complaint. You know, and I think
it came out of nowhere.
Look, I'm not the biggest Toto fan in the world.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I think even Toto's going,
yeah.
You know, enough's enough.
Yeah. Well, But and even the Sky guys were saying too. Like,
Yeah.
the whole team is against you.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. Team management. Yes.
Team management.
Yeah.
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 I'm
The
like,
guys
when
on the wall,
yeah,
and you're
like,
not right.
They're all
Yeah.
telling you,
Yeah.
suck it up,
Suck
and
it up.
keep going because
Right.
you didn't have it.
Right.
So
Didn't have it.
that's
And even if you were on the inside of the corner and the guy was ahead, you still can't go left,
yeah.
even though you did in Austria.
So
It's just I'm getting really. He is
Well,
He is
that-
really starting to like. I really like
He-
not enough. Like I
he's-
just can't take him anymore.
he's easily becoming the villain of the.
He's
paddock.
becoming one of the most hateable people in
Yeah.
F1, and
So-
it's just like the crying is
Well,
unbelievable.
it's that, and then it's the.
Smugness.
Yeah, because in the post-race interview, he was like, "Oh yeah, well, I like still holding on to that point. Like I
Yeah.
had Perez.
Yeah.
Like
the
I'm
letter
like,
of the law. It's like, dude, you were
dude.
not even close. Okay,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
please.
there's a Danica Fiat overtake.
Yeah,
No, yeah, you know. Anyways,
Ish.
it's just this is like the fourth or fifth time. I'm just getting. He's just like, you know what? It's like shooting fish in a barrel with him. I mean, I get it with Lewis and like his little whining that goes on.
Well, he did
and-
at Spain.
Who?
Lewis.
Yeah, but you know what? He's 7-time world champion, so I guess he's allowed.
So
but
I guess a
it's
little
just
bit of-
it's tiring. It really is tiring.
It is,
and it's like I hate
Getting
this.
old really
it's
fast.
and it's across the board. You know,
Well, because the other thing too is, I will say this: Lewis has turned around the season too.
He has. He's worked at it.
He is starting to come
and
back. And
a few things.
beat
A few things
George
about
as well.
a few things about that is, and it's been a good point. And I give Lewis credit because he's not somebody who is up for testing cars or going in and working in the sim. But since the problems came up, he's been the one that's been willing to put the crap on the extra weight on the cars so that they can do certain things to go out and test. So his weekends have always been compromised, as opposed to Russell's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which this is now kind of
Now,
eating at our point of, well, what has he driven other than the best car in the field? So Lewis.
Yes.
So this is where you can start to
this
give him
also
credit, too.
gets to my point with Russell. It's just because you went from Williams to Mercedes,
Yeah.
don't go bitching about drivers because honestly, they were bitching about you last year. All right. And
About being in the way. Imagine that. And,
yeah,
like
and
trying to overtake
honestly,
you while they're laughing.
I'll be blatantly honest. His driving style in the Williams versus his driving style in the Mercedes hasn't changed.
No.
He's the same.
No.
He just was slower in the Williams.
Right.
I mean, that whole incident with Bottas last year was ridiculous.
Right.
But
that's
but he doesn't see him as being in the wrong.
no.
No.
And that's where either experience will come and eventually calm you down, or it will easily
I'll be honest
move you
with
out
you,
the door.
I think he's gonna be out the door sooner than he thinks. I hate to say it because I think he thinks that he is like the next chosen one. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't see, if Charles can get his head snapped on, and and when I say his head snapped
Yeah.
on, I mean he just needs to be a little
He
more
just needs to calm.
focused during the race. Yeah, he gets way wound up.
Well,
And you know what? I hate to say it. It's a very, and don't take this the wrong way. It's a very French thing. They're very passionate. They're very,
Yeah.
they're like Italians. They're friggin' hot headed.
He's French?
And he's Monegasque, but like whatever. But he's passionate. I get
No.
it. He's passionate about the whole thing. He's
No,
like,
and-
but Carlos and Fernando are passionate. But the Spaniards seem to know how to check their emotions, and focus.
yeah. Well, and I think
I mean, when Fernando sits there in the middle of the race and goes, "Yeah, I know, I'm trying to ruin their tires."
yeah, right. Like he's got the mental.
He's
game
he's got the
screwed
mental
on.
game,
Yeah.
and I think Carlos is getting there with it, and
Yeah.
and he is.
Carlos, it's gonna take time.
It's gonna
because
he's
it's
still-
2/10
he's
here,
still the
3/10
outsider there.
Yeah.
You got to find a team where he could just, man, if he could just
Well, and
be the
that's
number one.
That's what he was with McLaren. Was with Renault.
Well, he wasn't because they really were kind of pressing Lando because Lando's Zach's boy.
I think that was because, but remember, going into last year, Carlos had already signed a deal.
I understand that, but I think Carlos saw what was coming. But also, if Ferrari comes to you, I would go to Ferrari too.
No, and Zach said that too. It's like, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
But
I really think it's it's just with Russell. With this sense of entitlement, I think this sense of entitlement with him is somewhat. He thinks he can get away with it because he's got Lewis as a teammate.
Yeah,
at that point, I also think Lewis Hamilton likes Valtteri Bottas as a teammate more.
I think they do. I just don't think Toto does like Valtteri. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what kind of talks Lewis has had with George and what that relationship is kind of.
I don't think they're buddy.
No, I don't think so either.
Because I think Lewis views him as a fanboy.
Yeah,
I think that's what he does.
So,
I mean, I don't think Lewis is a fan of Max, but I don't think he's like, you know what? Max is the first one that's ever stood up to him.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and honestly, like if you're gonna make history comparisons, it's gonna be what Alonso was to Schumacher, what Lewis was to Alonso.
If Max didn't win it last year, Lewis won it. So be it.
Right.
This year, like Max learned from the first year. Max has learned every year. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Charles can learn from every year. Yeah. I really do. I hope so because I like. He's fast. He's quick. He's daring. I like it. He's clean. Yeah. George, he's not so clean.
No, he's a dart without feathers.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just.
But
I drive for Mercedes, so move over.
Right.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you. If I'm Checo, I would have crashed this. I would have just crashed this. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then imagine Fernando on the podium.
Right, it would have been awesome. But anyways,
Yeah.
But you think Fernando's going to take that crap?
No.
No.
Do you think Carlos is going to take that crap?
No.
Do you think Carlos is going to take that crap?
No. But this is
they're going to point and laugh.
Yeah. And this is the thing too. Like I think with how far everything with how far the field is still spread, this is where you get into these conversations of like, all right, well, imagine if the midfield was closer, right? And you had a situation like 2012, where there is just no straight domination for the first half of the year. I know that Vettel went on a tear in the second half, but I mean that you don't have those opportunities or those moments in F1 a whole heck of a lot. So you never really get to see that. So with these with the field bunching up as it is, you're starting to see. I mean, yeah, Lewis has his everyone's the best fans and whatnot, and he'll come out and say that. But out of the top 6, I would put George at the bottom, only because I think he is getting too ahead of himself, whereas Charles he's been at Ferrari and outpaced Vettel at in his first year. So he clearly has talent and speed, but I'm not sure what he has outside of the car that's calming him and keeping him level-headed too, because I think going forward, he needs to realize that you just need to go as fast as you can and don't overdo it, because you did it in Imola. You've done it now at France, and I think he did it somewhere else, if I'm not mistaken. But you can't be making those mistakes. And again, you get back into the conversation of like last year, where it's like, what mistakes did Max make? That if he just lifted off, he would have had the title wrapped up with a race or two to go. Yeah. So with Charles, not saying that he'd be in the lead, but title is much closer.
I think what you see with Max right now is he's kind of learned from where he was last year with some of those mistakes had he thought differently about them.
Right.
I think he was, I'm not going to go with Silverstone. I still think Lewis was in the wrong there. But anyways.
Yeah.
But there were a couple other races where he should have, like Monza, should have backed off.
Yep.
Should have backed off. Things like that. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I don't know, what everyone else thinks, listeners and so forth, but I mean, I'm kind of getting tired of George.
Yeah.
And it's really getting to be. I don't hear Lando ever do this.
No, Landon's. I'm sorry, he's just.
Yeah.
Listen, I think he's going to be a strong contender for a
Max
podium.
gets on every once in a while and whines. I mean, George it's the overall smugness of the whole thing. It's the overall entitlement. Yeah. It's just, ugh.
Like it's
really getting boring.
It's almost worse than Lance Stroll.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that far, but
yeah.
I Stroll.
I don't ever hear Latifi
he's very quiet.
He's very quiet. He goes, hey,
Lando is even quieter than that.
Lando doesn't really want to vocalize that.
No.
He doesn't really want to, but I think Zach, that's why Zach likes him.
Yeah.
But anyways, so we're on to Hungary this weekend. Mm-hmm. See what happens. Lewis will start from pole by himself. If it rains,
which it looks like it's going to be raining this week.
That was I have to admit though, that was Mercedes imitating Ferrari right there.
Yeah,
at its finest.
Yeah,
I mean, poor Lewis.
But if it wasn't for Fernando,
right? But how do you, if you're Lewis, the thought process sitting on the grid like that by yourself? Like what?
Well, but
what do you say? What do you say? He couldn't come in. He could they didn't talk about it.
No, but this is what shocks me though is that was a restart. It wasn't the formation lap.
No, I know, but like the fact that it was almost like it's just sometimes these teams get so arrogant about what they're doing that they put the drivers in a bad spot.
Yeah.
And like, if you're Mercedes, how do you the guy is sitting on the grid. He's a seven-time world champion. He's sitting on the grid and he's there by himself because you idiots screwed this up.
But we talked about this last year too, or about last year's season.
Yeah.
Like once Mercedes had pressure on them,
they crumbled.
They do suck.
Yeah, they do suck. I gotta admit that they do suck.
I'll give it to them. These past couple races of this year, they've
had to learn that they got to work at it. Yeah.
So they are turning around,
and that's one thing. Red Bull has always been kind of like, I don't want to say. Look, they had the dominant years with Sebastian and all that, but they were still hungry and they stay hungry.
Yeah.
I'm not so much sure that's. Helmut Marko. I mean, that guy. Please, can they ban him from the paddock?
Yeah.
But I think it's just over. I just think overall, it's like Christian and the management team there.
Yeah.
Marko is that guy. Please, God, I cringe every time he comes on the air.
Yeah.
It's like ugh. Anyways, so we'll go to Hungary. I'll go LeClerc, Verstappen. Oh God, who else does good there?
George Russell.
No.
Just say it, Sean.
No.
you picked Russell. I will say out of last week's
I did
picks,
not.
Did I pick Russell?
You had Max, Carlos, and Russell.
Well,
one, 2, and 3. So you actually.
I'm gonna go Max, Leclerc, Sainz.
Okay.
Carlos rebounds.
Okay.
Dark horse, Fernando.
Yes.
That's everybody's dark horse.
Unless. Well, I think I'm going to go with, I'll tell you what, Max is going to dominate. I think he's going to get the victory. You're going to see Charles Leclerc get second. He's not going to be too thrilled with his second. But coming in third, I do see Sergio Perez filling that gap. And then your dark horse, I really think it's going to be Sebastian Vettel.
You don't think Aston Martin's going to screw him?
I mean, he was in prime position last year, and they got disqualified. But I think they're going to run into a similar situation where it's. I don't think it's going to be bowling balls, of a start. But I do think you're going to see the cream rise to the top when it comes if it's going to rain. and I think Sebastian Vettel is going to be one of those drivers.
Okay. I'm gonna go. LeClerc wins it. Max finishes second, and then Sainz on third.
Nice.
Dark horse. If it rains. I mean, I'd probably go. No, see.
Last year's winner.
No, I don't think it. I don't think it would be Ocon. I
No,
can't.
me neither.
You know,
Then again,
screw
I
it,
would have
screw
never
it.
guessed he would have won.
I'm gonna go with a pick again. I'm gonna go K-Mag.
Yeah.
Just because he definitely had the pace when they showed up again there. So I mean, he's clearly got the experience and the pace in that car. So I don't know what he'll do in the wet, or if anything, but that could also be the kiss of death because he didn't really do a whole lot this weekend either. But didn't help that he had a penalty either.
Right.
So, all right.
Nice. Good pick.
I guess quick news: BMW unveiled their LMDH car today.
Yes.
They have a V8 hybrid power motor in their car. I think we mentioned that it has a DTM version of an engine in there, right, Dad?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a DTM motor.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, sorry.
Not an old motor, but just
It's
platform.
where the platform is DTM. Yeah. And it'll be a IMSA program for 2023, then dual IMSA and WEC for 2024.
Yes.
So it makes going to Le Mans that year even more impressive.
Yes. Yeah.
Package details to follow.
I gotta say, I think the sound from the test that it had for the engine, I think that's second.
The car's still being tested in Italy. It's a Dallara-based chassis. It's still being tested in Italy. Kind of cool news on that was Nate brought this up, was Connor Filippi tested the car, which is awesome. And who else tested it?
Augusto something, I forget.
Was
his
Augusto
name.
Farfus?
Yes.
Tested it?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see who. I mean, obviously, D. Filippi and Jonathan Edwards, I think, will be the on the IMSA side. They'll be driving. Possibly they could split it. You never know. One could go to WEC and one. Anyways, but that's not for next year. That's for whatever. So I think the top 4 BMW drivers will be the guy. Top 4, and then they'll probably put 2 other guys in for the long races.
Yeah.
The other cool thing was Lamborghini confirmed late last week that it has signed 2 drivers to its LMDH program. So we're getting fired up for that.
It's coming.
It's coming. That thing has to look as good as it did.
Yeah.
I know. I'm really drooling over that one. I really can't wait to see what it looks like.
I'm getting more fired up for that one. Just a dumb question on the Ferrari? Is that a hypercar?
Yes.
So that will not be coming to IMSA,
It's
or
LMH.
So will it come to IMSA? I can't see Ferrari not running in America.
It will come to America at Sebring.
At Sebring, but I just can't see them not want. Like they can go up against. They can enter IMSA with an LMH car, though. Can you not?
What is it? You can do LMH to LMDH, but you can't do LMDH to LMH.
No, I thought this whole convergence thing was to have both IMSA.
But why can't Glickenhaus come over?
Because they did not. They have to pay the $1 million to get in.
Oh,
that's the problem.
Okay.
That's why somebody needs to step in.
Yeah.
Like Elon Musk needs to step in and sponsor him. Like seriously.
Yeah, but
SpaceX.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Come
or
on.
Apple, get sponsored by Apple, Amazon, something.
Some big tech company that Jim Glickenhaus could get.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Jim Glickenhaus in the IMSA paddock.
If the whole game is this convergence of you can swap between the two classes, then yes, it should make Le Mans of 2024 10 different manufacturers.
Peugeot wants to come here and run.
Yeah.
So they're down to they have to run in certain. They have to decide whether it's Nissan. They have to find
their badge.
Their badge. Yeah, that's the thing. That's why like no joke, like people are talking about, like one of the ones that's floating around out there right now is Hyundai.
Ooh.
So, because they're already in IMSA in the
Yeah.
MPC, the Michelin Prototype Series. So
Yeah.
Michelin Pilot
yeah,
series.
Yeah.
So
With Robert Wickens and company.
yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be kind of cool. Wiki in a prototype. That'd be kind of cool. So that's kind of when's IMSA up next? They're at Road America. Is it
Yes.
2 weeks.
They're at Road America in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So this
August.
weekend we got a kind of a busy little weekend. We got IndyCar at IMS, NASCAR at IMS, Formula One at Hungary,
Yep.
along with its support series, and then we also have the Spa 24 Hours. So,
Yes.
folks, if you want to see some good GT car racing, I believe
Check that out.
I check it out. It's SRO, so I think that might actually be on YouTube.
Yeah, it
I
might
really
be.
hope
It
so.
might be on YouTube. If
Because
not, it's
I've
on.
seen
If
like
not,
the
it's on
Bathurst
Motor.
12 hours
If
on
not,
like
it's
YouTube.
no. It used to be. Now it's on Motor Trend.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to rebuy it for like $5.
we can talk later.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And then so that's out there. And then just folks, just kind of giving some props to some other podcasts that are out there before we move on to our next subject, and that is I just want to kind of put a shout out to the guys from Box and Neutrals. The more and more I listen to that podcast, the more and more I love it. It's a great podcast. Christian got a good chuckle out of it on Friday driving up to Canaan. The guys on there are they're whack. They're just funny. They're good.
Yeah.
They're solid Aussies. They're funny. They're not serious about it, but like they like to they'll take barbs at everybody. So from the teams to Sky Sports, so it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't think we're trying to rip them off by ripping people. So,
Yeah.
and that the other guys to take a listen to, I think on the Formula One side of it, the guys from Missed Apex, definitely give them a listen to. They do some great shows, both their race recaps and then their special shows in between. That they have a Tech Talk one. They have Mailbag, which is really good. They also have one with Joe Sayward, who's a longtime F1 paddock reporter, and he brings some really great stuff. Very satirical guy, and I like it. But they do a great job. And then lastly, just a kind of a thing, if you have the Motor Trend app, the guys from Ryan and Sean from Dinner with Races,
Yep.
probably the front running motorsports podcast out there.
Oh, by far. Yeah.
At least in our world. And one that I really enjoy, just not from a race recap, but just from going out and interviewing people. They do a great job. But they've done some TV shows that have now transferred from Amazon to Motor Trend. If you have the app or the Motor Trend TV channel, they just launched season 3 of their shows. They're chronicling a trip they did to Alaska, and it is in the racing scene in Alaska and some other things in Alaska, and it's really good. It's well done. So give it a shout out and make you appreciate just the passion of racing. So really well done show.
Yeah.
So just from that aspect. So kind of want to move on to Canaan.
Yeah. So Canaan. We go
2-day
up,
weekend.
2-day weekend. KartMania race number 5 for NHKA.
One word: hot.
I mean, yeah,
It was hot.
I thought
it wasn't loud and hot.
Yeah,
it was
I
hot.
thought Loudon was hotter. So, but
big shout out to the folks at NHKA.
Yeah.
Once again, I mean, it was well organized. Everything flowed nicely.
Yeah.
And also a shout out to all the competitors for kind of listening to the instructions of our race director and stuff like that. Yes, as Mike pointed out, there were some tempers flared, but I think it was more heat of the battle type stuff.
Yeah.
But Mike, Mike in his best way ever diffused them, did a great job, and it was a fun weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is the 6th year of KartMania.
Yeah.
And so KartMania, for anyone who doesn't know, is we go up to Canaan Motor Club, and Canaan Motor Club is a 1.3 mile road course. Typically, when NHKA goes up there, we use the short course.
Right.
Which will go through turns 1. I guess that left after 1 is technically 2.
2,
so then
3, 4.
And then we make this cut back onto the start finish straight.
Yeah, we go through a little twisty section, which is kind of it's used by the guys from the Vermont sports car team for their rallycross.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's pavement, and there's a dirt section to the left, and there's a pavement section to the right. And the pavement section is they use. I think the bikes use it too.
Yeah,
for some training when the motorcycle clubs are there.
Regardless, it's about as wide for 2 carts as you would want. It's still pretty tight, but that's about tight. As wide as you want.
It's a tight little section.
Yeah.
So
regardless,
but not here.
for KartMania weekend, we get to use the full road course.
The Mulsanne Straight.
Pretty much. So with this it becomes a road race on a kart calendar.
Yes.
And it really brings out a different driving style.
It does.
And you get to see the grid kind of turn around a little bit.
Yeah.
But you also get to see a completely different style of racing, which you get involved with kind of NASCAR style speedway pack racing.
In some ways, excuse me, the IMSA motor, the X30, that motor's the road tax seems to be the motor to have.
All right. So for the tag senior class,
let's
there's the 3 motors that run in our class. There's the Rock, X30, and the Road Tax.
And it seems like
typically on the sprint tracks, the X30 or the Rock kind of dominate the Road Tax.
Yep.
But here at this, the Road Tax seems to be the engine.
Yeah, seems to be the engine.
There was one year where I think it was the Rock that Ricardo ran.
No, it was IMSA. It was an X30.
It was an X30. There was one year that he did blow us away. But he also had an issue on the last lap. So technically the Road Tax won that year. But the pace was there in the X30 that year.
He threw a chain, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. But it was so it's kind of a different thing. So in this instance, is there a weight difference too?
Between the 3 engines?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is the Road Tax on the lighter end?
The Road Tax is the lightest at 365. The X30 is at 370.
That comes into play here as well. So in that instance, current points leader Mark Donato, who typically runs,
No, Alex is technically leading.
Oh, technically leading. Anyway, so it doesn't matter.
There is a drop round.
So
in these
Mark,
points
Mark's who's up in the points. Anyways, Mark doesn't run a Road Tax normally.
No.
So he moved to a Road Tax this weekend. So he had an Evo on his kart. So a little bit different for him.
Yeah.
So which is it's interesting. It's just it's kind of an interesting dynamic as to what motor is kind of good and what isn't.
Yep.
The weight breaks are consistent with what goes on in the national point system. I hate to say it. The NHKA may be 5 pound difference. I don't know, but it.
Yeah, I think
if we were running a national event weights there at 370, that's where we were the whole time. Yeah. So the NHKA thing, it's 365 for the Road Tax.
Yeah,
365. So we had a good idea of what was going on, and I was surprised. I just the way the weekend went, and in terms of the tuning with the motor and stuff. We basically changed the jet once, and then the biggest thing was playing with the spark plugs all weekend. Just changing with different plugs due to the temperature changes and the drop in humidity. So as the temperature increased and the humidity increased, the plugs changed. So we went, we started with a 29 plug, and we ended up with a 34 plug for the race day. So it was interesting, but I think that change. I think that really plays a difference into the weekend.
Oh yeah.
I know we helped Will and Tom
Juba.
out
Yeah.
with their cart. They had run at the Lafayette race, and they had run the RMAX series, and they run a spec plug, meaning that you show up and they're like, "Here you go,"
Right.
And that's the rules, and you abide by it. And they had that plug in, and they came over and they were like, "Can't get the cart to run." So we were kind of walking through it with them, and Christian kind of threw out, "Well, what plug you running?"
Yeah.
And they were like, "What?" And so we had a huge discussion with that, and helped them out with some carburetor, with the carburetor and stuff. And Will got quicker.
Yeah.
Which was great. So I think I think for Will, a little more experience on the big track.
Yeah.
With that motor, I mean, he's very competitive in the 4-stroke class.
Yeah.
I think with that class, he just needs a little more driving style difference. It's seat time. It's seat time, and it is, as you said, Christian. It's a different animal.
Yeah. Yeah. But on top of, the difference between a 4-stroke and a 2-stroke, different. But difference also on top of that with the road racing style of
you can't in a true karting sense, you're kind of sometimes sliding the cart and stuff. In this sense, you can't really slide the cart because
not so much just sliding it, but like if you think of a sprint track, you're throwing it up the inside, trying to make a move because you're making sprint race passes. This is true road racing. Like you need to work with others out there,
and it's definitely being smooth and consistent with your lines. And the draft plays a huge thing.
Yeah, so
we saw that in practice.
Yeah, in the in the tag we were running up to 80 to 85 miles an hour at top speed. And then in the World Formula class, we were topping out at, I think, 65. In the draft plays a huge role in going quick around this place. So the minute you lose a draft partner, you're instantly down probably half a second to a second. And then, so it's all about trying to find someone who you can run with and, do it right. Because there's plenty of times you can get hooked up with someone and they don't know how to road race too. So then that really can hurt you as well.
And being patient.
Right. So.
Yeah. If, like in some of the practice sessions, I know like in the 4-stroke class, you started. Sometimes we didn't get to the grid we had like 4 or 5 practice sessions on Saturday before qualifying, and not every time there was one time it was literally we didn't know they went out the last session.
No, that was the road tax.
Yeah, in the road tax, right?
Yeah.
They went out and literally jumped on the track, and then Christian ran out and ripped off a bunch of times.
Yeah.
He got caught up to some people, but
Yeah, I mean that session wasn't really almost big deal. We were also pretty.
We could have passed on that session.
Yeah, right out of the gate we were quick in both classes.
Both classes.
So that is purely based off of notes that we had from the previous years. So that was what really helped us there. So, just cut down on time that we needed.
Why don't we just cut to the bad part of the weekend, which was the World Formula, unfortunately.
Yeah. So
great practice.
Practice went fine.
Fine. Qualifying.
Right before qualifying.
Oh yeah.
Found out that we had a crack in the seat strut.
Seat
in the frame.
Frame. Not the strut. Yeah. Not the seat strut, but the frame strut to the seat.
So ended up running the 5-minute qualifying with a crack, and I tried to keep the weight off of it as much as possible.
Which is tough, and the crack got a little
worse, but
and then
not bad.
Fortunately, we were able to find out. We thought we had a lead. Well, we had somebody that was kind enough to go get. Alan Pope was gonna. He was going back to his home to get another motor. He had a motor issue, but he had a welder. That is his house.
Yeah.
So we were kind of in between the time that Alan left and that point of him coming back, we were basically prepping the chassis to do the welding.
Yeah.
In between the time we were doing the chassis prep and that, we ran one of the, I apologize, I don't know which team it was.
Yeah,
A couple guys.
Yeah.
We'll find you out and give you full credit the next race. But these guys stepped up. They had a welder, and we were actually able to use that welder and then get in touch with Alan to say not to bring it. Really a big shout out to those guys. Christian was actually able to do kind of a quick and dirty weld to get it, ready to go.
Yeah.
And that. And then, we went to we put everything back together, and then we go out in the first session and we find we had another issue with a bolt. We go back and fix it. Yeah. Go out and run session 2. Kart ran fine.
No issues. Sorry, everything was good.
Everything was good, and then we go out in the race.
Formation lap goes fine. Lap 1, I come around to go onto the back straight and just no power.
Yeah. So we, unfortunately, Christian. I think, could you have made it around?
No, I was trying, and
it was
I
just
couldn't.
constantly.
So
it was just losing power.
The cart would start up and idle, but the minute you put your foot to the floor, it just died out.
The unfortunate thing was you had passed the first cutout.
Yes.
Behind the shed there.
But even if I did do that, I wouldn't have been able to get back.
But it just would have been closer to home.
Yeah. No,
you would have been out on an island out there.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, World Formula didn't go the way we had hoped. No. But I will say this: the World Formula Light race, an amazing race for 20 minutes. Great race.
It was a pack of 6 or 7 cars.
6 or 7.
Lead pack.
Juba. Will had the lead, and then he got freight.
Will or Tom, if you need to correct us.
Correct
us.
Get it right. It's fine. It's all right. But Will did a great job. He was super patient throughout the race. I think, I'll be honest with you, if I was him, I would have done the exact same thing. He had no choice but to take the lead.
Yeah.
And then he got freight trained.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was painful to watch.
Yeah. It was when I was standing up, because I was on the hill really of one of the back section of the track, and you could tell the last minute or two.
Yeah.
Anyone that was your friend, no one's your friend
No
anymore.
one's your friend anymore.
Everyone would leave you out to hang out to dry. And that wasn't just Will, that was everyone in that pack too. Everyone was getting selfish.
And that's World Formula.
Yeah.
And that's why we kind of like it.
Yeah.
And it was a very clean race up until that lap, because there was some shenanigans that happened when that was all going on, and that it was a little bit of heat in the back. Some of them, there was a bit of heat in the post race paddock afterwards, but Mike diffused it pretty quickly. But and some of the team members diffused it really quickly. But it was, oh man, it felt bad. I just. You know what? And Will had no choice but to go for it.
No,
it was just like a lot of.
But
it just he passed, and then but the other guys still, there was 3 or 4 guys that were still in the draft, and they got them.
If I've learned anything from running these iRacing Indy 500s, or even just watching the 500 more often these past years, it's right place, right time, and you need to know when to make that move, because. I mean, even in my road tax race, I made the move for the win too early, but bad timing on my part.
Bad timing. But anyways, Will just got freight trained, so it was it was tough. It was anyways, and then so Ryan Archibald won.
Kyle finished second, and then Teddy. Yeah,
Teddy's
third.
Awesome. Teddy Gilmarker. Teddy shows up for one race.
Yeah.
He finished third. It was awesome. And he was competitive all weekend. We gave it to him.
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome. I like to see that. Yeah. So, but it was that was a fun race.
Mm-hmm.
It was, like I said, there was some shenanigans that went on behind that group. So I don't really want to get into it, but there was some moves that were kind of sketchy. But anyways, that kind of cost season regulars some points.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them if they were upset. So, but other than that, that was World Formula, and that happened after the tag race, tag senior race, which was wow. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, being inside the kart, I knew we were putting on a show, but I would have loved to have some cameras set up around the track to have it.
Next time I need to I got to break the camera out because it was crazy.
We need to find what we need to do is find someone to come and set up like a couple cameras.
Well, you know what would be cool is if I could put it out in the the infield area there and use the remote to when you guys come around the left, the pit straight, the left hander at the pit straight there. As you come up over that rise, it's kind of blind.
Yeah.
So if I could follow you guys all the way,
all
the way around, it'd be awesome. It was crazy. There was a bunch of folks from the World Formula class. On the pit wall, there were some folks that were up on what was Jim's last name over with Mike and those guys.
Jim Slate.
They were on his trailer. Freddie and those guys were all on that trailer. They were all watching it.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. I like so Mark Donato started on pole. Alex started second. Gomes started second. You started third.
Yep. Wyatt was fourth.
I don't know Wyatt's last name. Wyatt started fourth, and then Hugh was fifth.
Yeah.
And then Cruz was behind you. Cruz Labrie was behind you. So Mark got kind of a slow start.
Yeah, so did I.
And Christian did too. So I hate to say it, I think he must have been on the same gear.
I think he was one tooth lower.
One tooth lower than what you were. So,
yeah.
And that might have been one tooth lower than what Alex was on?
Yes, Alex and I ran the same gear.
Oh, same gear, but
I knew that.
Alex weighs like a flea.
Yeah, but you all have to weigh the same, so it doesn't matter. Hugh, I think Hugh ran one tooth lower, or he had a better jet setup than
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
anyways.
Yep. So kind of a little bit of chaos at the start.
Yeah, so I dropped down.
Did Cruz get in front of you and Mark?
Yes. So
he did.
So Alex and Hugh bolted off.
Right.
Fine.
From the outside.
Yes, from the outside row.
Yep.
Mark and I were on the inside.
Yep.
And then
Cruz got in between.
Cruz went up the inside of me and Mark.
Yep.
And then Wyatt went around the outside as well.
Right.
With Hugh as well.
Right.
So the three of them went.
And
so
then basically you and Mark.
Yeah, Mark and I worked by Wyatt and Cruz on the second lap.
Second or third lap, yep.
And then from the second lap to about the 10th lap, Mark and I were just incrementally catching Alex and Hugh.
It was kind of interesting when I was watching the race from afar,
Yeah.
not in the kart and having now seen the video. It's kind of like, I don't know if we did the right, could we gone something different with the gear and stuff. And what I saw from the video was that it was actually kind of better just to kind of lay off each other a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you were following, so you kind of had the benefit of the draft a little bit. Mm-hmm. And Mark was kind of breaking the, Mark was the lead kart, but Mark's kart was strong.
Yeah.
And what was interesting was the two of you stayed patient, which was good. So even though you were behind Mark by say 10, within 5 to 10 feet, I don't know, what's that, 3 car lengths?
Yeah.
Laying off, it was actually probably better than being up on him. Mm-hmm. So that the benefit, you guys were definitely pulling each other through, and then Hugh and Alex didn't really work together.
Yeah, I don't know what went on there.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I will. Hugh was definitely being patient.
Yeah.
And Alex was. They just didn't hook up in a tight formation.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying running like an inch apart. Mm-hmm. It just, they didn't tight. It just, but I don't know if maybe Hugh was just kind of, anyways. So what happened was, as you guys started to get to traffic, you and Mark, sort of Mark first, then you sort of caught them. Mark caught him first,
Yeah.
and then a couple laps later, you caught up because they ran into some traffic.
Yeah.
Mark kind of got a little pinched on one going into one, if I remember correctly, based on the video. He got pinched on one a little bit. He was able to slot into second, but he got slowed up.
Yeah.
And so he was there, and then it was like kind of you. It was Hugh, Mark, Alex.
Yep.
And then Alex made a move, and then you made a move, and then you got by Alex, and then made a move on Mark by Mark, and then it was you and Hugh at that point, and that was for a couple laps.
Yeah.
And then Hugh ran wide at the left-hander before the...
Okay. So I was in fourth. Mark tries to go down the inside of Hugh into one.
Yeah.
Alex is still ahead of me.
Yeah.
Alex goes down, so then Mark tries to go down the inside of Hugh.
Yeah.
Hugh holds it around the outside.
Yeah.
Alex goes up the inside of Mark. I go with Alex and Hugh.
Yeah.
And we basically freight train past Mark.
Yeah.
And then a lapper later,
you got by Alex.
No, Hugh makes a mistake coming over the crest, that off-camera one.
That's right.
Alex goes in the lead. I go with him.
Right.
And then on one either that following lap or the lap after, I get a draft on Alex and I go for the move on the back straight.
Right.
And then a lap or two later after that, Hugh goes by me too.
Right.
So then what's it? 3 Yeah.
It was like
going on 2 to go. I'm on Hugh's bumper coming across the start finish line. And I right then and there I knew my move would have been just try and get a good run on him coming up to the start finish line and make my move there. That was the game plan at that point.
There was no sense really trying to do it down the back straight.
No.
Because Hugh was super quick through the chicane.
Well, he was super quick there, but I couldn't pull and pass him in the draft like I could against Alex.
Yeah.
Because both Hugh and Mark were quicker than me down the back straight.
Yeah.
And I couldn't make that move on him. So
it was really
regardless,
wild.
that's where my move would have had to been.
It was wild. And I honestly, when you guys came by for like what was the checkered flag?
Yeah.
We like the bunch of us on the wall thought there was one to go, and then we turned and like they threw the checker, and we were like, "Oh, okay."
Right.
You know, so which was fine. I mean, at that point, but it was kind of crazy. But I was kind of expecting the next lap that you and Hugh might have been side by side. So, but it was a crazy race. It was really the overall that I don't know if there was any. I'm trying to think if there was any retirements.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can't remember either. I mean, the other cool thing was that it was kind of a fun weekend because the Curse family was back together, running together. So John was running Chris's kart in Tag Senior.
His old kart, which he's been doing this whole year.
Yeah, running Chris's Tag Senior. And Chris rented a kart through DRT.
Yep.
And it was funny because Chris had a DRT suit on, and it was he was Lane for the weekend.
Yeah.
So we're not sure who Lane is, but Chris became Lane. Yeah. Anyways, it was So Chris hasn't been running. He kind of fell in the same situation with Christian. Went off to college, did a bunch of stuff. Chris has been running some Formula Ford.
Yep.
Racing nationally.
1600s.
Formula Ford 1600s nationally and doing very well there. And so he came back. Unfortunately, they only have one cart, so John had confiscated that cart. So John was running. John did a great job. Is this the second year running senior? I think so.
Because I know he made the jump up from
he did
junior.
A good jump. Chris did well. I mean, he was talking to us, it was a struggle, so he was coming over asking us some stuff that we were doing so he could take back to the DRT guys to tell them what he thought he might. Because him and Christian and Chris run identically the same.
Yeah. Prior to both of us going off to school, we would always run just nose to tail on one another, and it was great.
Christian and Chris would share notes and stuff like that, so it was kind of cool. So we gave Chris some notes on that, which he took back to John as well.
Yeah.
Chris ended up, he had a unfortunate incident qualifying. He got a flat tire.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't want to. Anyways, moving on. But he rallied back. He got on the start. He got to 5th, and
what? No.
Yeah, he got up to 5th on this. He did.
He didn't pass me.
No. Oh, I meant like a couple laps when you guys sort of pulled away.
After everything.
After you had gotten by.
So second half of the race,
after you got by Cruz and Wyatt, he worked himself at the. Unfortunately, he was in no man's land. He couldn't catch. Yeah. So, and Chris's comment after the race was, "Yeah, I'm gonna feel this tomorrow." So it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But it was good. It's good to have Chris back. Good to have John running and having the Curse family running. So hopefully we'll see them again later in the season. Hopefully, maybe again at Loudon. Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Chris is going to be at Summit Point.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be at Summit Point.
Summit Point running the Formula Ford.
But maybe we'll see John. I'm not sure.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see John and his dad. And shout out, best of luck to Chris on that. He does a great job in Formula Ford. I mean, he does a really good job.
Yeah.
So, looking, so it was fun. Mm-hmm. It was a great weekend. We had a couple of raffles for some folks for some GoFundMe stuff. That was great. Just once again, it was just a great overall vibe from the NHKA paddock overall. Yeah. Everyone was helping everyone. We were helping folks out.
And then in turn, you come off the track after the races, and you have the top 5 in just about every race.
Especially the tag senior class. It was awesome to see.
Yeah,
it was good. It was a fun race. Overall, it was one of the best races I've seen in a long time. Mm-hmm. The driving skill in it was amazing. Yeah. So, shout out to everybody. Congrats to Hugh.
Yep. Yeah.
I posted. Christian had me take pictures of the podium. And it was Christian. It was Hugh, Christian, Mark on the stand. And I'm looking and I realized, Hugh had his driving shoes on, and I was like, I made a comment like to Christian's post. I was like, Hugh should have done a shoey, and it was like kind of funny.
Yeah,
but it was kind of cool because Mark had his helmet and Mark had his DRT kind of gear on, and Christian was kind of like, what?
I was rocking a Hawaiian shirt.
He was doing our Rimist look, which is just like, But Hugh was rocking like his casual look, but he had his racing shoes on, and I was like, a shoey would have been great.
Yeah.
But it was a fun weekend. There was great cookout on Saturday. We spent part of the evening watching the Formula One qualifying, so that was fun. And then we had some folks come by the tent because they thought we were going to do the podcast.
Yeah.
With Alex and the folks from Formula Hooligan, but the Formula Hooligan and Red Mist guys were A, exhausted, and B,
still knee deep
in working on their carts, unfortunately. So there won't be a joint. Well, hopefully we'll get another one going soon. Alex was going to join us tonight, but Alex has a side hustle. He's a musician in the Newport, Jamestown, Rhode Island area, and Alex had a gig tonight. So if anyone's down that way, definitely look for Alex. He's on social media posting where he's playing and stuff, and he does a great job posting of that. And we were trying to get Hugh to be on, but we'll get Hugh on at some point. Hugh had a work commitment, so wasn't able to join tonight. So we'll get Hugh on to talk about it.
There's plenty of time to get fellow friends on this podcast.
They did great. They did a great job. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was the highlight of the weekend was definitely getting out after the tag senior race, and top 4 of us all congratulating one another, and then just about everyone else who was watching that race was coming over saying how good it was. Just talking.
Amazing.
Yeah,
it was amazing. So, I know it didn't go. Yeah,
we didn't get the win, but that just to have 4 carts on
Yeah.
the same piece of track, and we're just battling constantly, but doing it so cleanly and the way we do.
It was just
we're all there.
Yeah,
to have fun.
I didn't get to see the shifter race, which Mark won.
Yeah, I didn't
see
either.
that. I'd also like to shout out to Tom Rosenfeld.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Tom, man, Tom's a beast.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, he won World Formula Heavy.
Yep.
After winning LO26
Yeah,
Masters.
206 Masters. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Tom, and the best part of the day was Tom on the podium holding both trophies up.
Yeah.
It was cool.
And he looked exhausted.
He
too.
looked exhausted,
but
it
I
was
mean,
awesome.
Congrats to him.
Yeah,
like
congrats
that
to
was a heck of a day for him.
Yeah, and that. So, big shout out to Tom there.
Yeah.
So and it was a great weekend. The NHKA guys did an awesome weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So, and thanks to the Canaan Fire Department and their ambulance crew for coming, and the folks at Canaan Motor Club for putting on a great event.
Yeah.
Everything went well.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed the gunfire at 4 a.m. across the street. That was good. But
Yeah.
welcome to New Hampshire.
Yep.
We did
Live
have
free or die.
we had late night stargazing on Friday.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we saw the International Space Station fly
Yep.
overhead. That was great.
Saturn was out pretty clear.
Saturn was clear.
And I, for me at least, it looked like you could see some dust cloud
Milky
from
Way.
the Milky Way.
We also had a couple shooting stars.
Yep.
And we had a risky satellite. Anyways, that was before the ISS came over, so
Yeah.
that was cool. But it was a fun weekend. Just that great weekend. So we're on to Loudon for a single race weekend day
Yep.
coming up August 20th.
August 20. Come on, calendar. One more. 20th. Yes. you're right.
20th. Yep. And then after that, we are September 10th and 11th.
Yep.
I believe
10th and 11th at Loudon.
that
again.
is the season wrap up.
Yeah.
And then we will have a October 8th, a special event.
Yes.
No one knows what it is.
Yeah.
It's being held closely to the vest by the
Yeah.
NHKA authorities.
But
So-
that race will be at Canaan.
At Canaan.
And the special event, to clarify, is not part of the championship. So
Right.
the 3 races left in the championship are race number 6 at Loudon and race number 7 and 8 at Loudon again,
Yep.
doubleheader weekend.
Yep.
So
We'll see how it goes. Appreciate everyone hanging in there. A lot going on this weekend. So, and a lot coming forward into the next weekend. So
Yeah.
hopefully everyone catches some kind of racing on TV, YouTube, whatever.
yeah.
Hope you have all a good time, and look forward to talking to you next week. Cheers.
Thank you guys for listening to the Red Mist Podcast, hosted by Christian Abbott, Sean Abbott, and Nathan Lavin. It's produced by Christian Abbott, and music is by Alex Wart and Harrison Tate.